All right, Team Solemn Circus here. This is our friend Dylan. He got 501, second place at the Halifax Regionals. So show us what you're on.
I'm on Ishizu Tears, and I'm undefeated. 5-0 draw at a game, and let's get into that profile.
All right, let's get into it.
So I was on Ishizu Tears, obviously, to kick things off. All the names, 3 Sharon, 3 Hovness, 3 Merle, and only the 2 Rhino.
2 Rhinos?
One thing about, 2 Rhino, most people are kind of on these days. Rhino isn't that great to draw. You definitely don't want to draw multiples of him, because sometimes you just have other better normal summons. Merle, saw a lot of the decks that won YCS Pasadena only running 2. Don't run 2, run 3. The consistency on the mills, I don't think I missed a mill all day.
I'm on 3 as well, I like it.
Today, yeah. 3 Merle is absolutely the way to go. So that's the tier names, and over to the Ishizu cards. So we're playing 3 Keldo, 3 Mudora, 3 Kelbeck, and only the 1 Agido. I actually opened a whole case of Magnificent Mavens and only pulled 2 Agido. But I only wanted to run the 1 because I did find it was a bit weaker than Kelbeck. All it does is reborn a card, and none of these really do anything when they're reborn.
Yeah, Kelbeck being a hand trap definitely make a push.
Yeah, it's really nice to have Kelbeck in hand first or second. So, but you do want the option to potentially get the extra mill.
Yeah, like send off Herald or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So that's for the Ishizu cards. On to some of the Bestial stuff. So this is where we get into some spice. I'm only playing the 2 Magnamut, 2 Druis Worm, and the 1 Saranir. This is probably going to make people think I'm a little bit crazy. This is purely based off of the tournament last night that I played, where I lost because I was seeing too many of the same Bestial names. Definitely a personal choice. Consistency-wise, you probably would still want to run 3, but I definitely opened multiple names, going second multiple times, and it felt really good today. So,
I saw a lot of other deck lists. People had the same thoughts. They don't open doubles.
Yeah, and even Saranir, the effect, you don't use it in my build, so you do lose a bit of value there, but just having another name is really great. These guys are all strong. These can win you games by themselves. 100%. So these cards are great. On to the last monsters. Just a couple of hand traps and a little extra thing. 3 Orange Light. This is a power card.
This card.
It felt, whenever I had the discard, it felt great. Whenever I had discard with Kelbeck, it felt awesome. So,
I wish I drew it more. I blew it on Bestials a lot today.
Yeah, definitely played the 3 Orange Light. And lastly, the 2 Diviner. This was actually a last-minute side-in after looking at the YCS Pasadena stuff. I wasn't on Barone originally.
It's so good.
Every time I summoned it today, it felt really good.
Yeah.
So definitely, and it's really easy. You spam out level 4s, no problem. You set up your grave. It's so good to make Barone. So that's Divine, and that's it for the monsters in the main. For next, over to the spell cards. So we're playing triple field spell, Perlarino, and 1 Terraforming. You gotta play this. This is like easily one of, if not the best card in the deck, except for arguably Instant Fusion.
Yeah.
But these cards are all insane. You draw any of these going first, you're in a really good spot. Also play the 1 Stream. Saw a lot of people in the good decks playing 2 of those. I only played 1. Again, just didn't want to draw multiples of it. That's all there is to it. And last spell, a little bit of spice to fill the slot. The 1 TTT. You can never brick if you only have 1. Every time I drew this card, it felt great, and it won me games.
I think I saw First in Swiss of Pasadena was also 1 TTT. Was that inspired by it?
Yeah, actually, and I won the feature match, and I won my final game because I had TTT to just take a monster. I took a Boral End Dragon, the big new boss monster. Yeah, and he had this scope.
Feels good.
Because it can just clear the board.
Feels very good.
So that's it for the spells in the main. And lastly, the 2 traps. 1 Soliac, 1 Crime?
Yeah.
I will say with those, saw a lot of people running 2 Soliac. Again, I just minimized all the ratios because I do not want to draw multiples of these cards.
That's fair. You're kind of like
these are both great fun, so and you can shuffle them back with some of the Ishizu cards.
You're almost cutting a Solic for the TTT.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it gave me great value today. So that's it for the main deck. 40 cards.
40 cards? I like that.
Yeah. Over to the side. The side is pretty standard at this point. We got the 1 Kick Kalos, one Rule Kalos, and one Kaleido Heart for the tier names.
Yep.
For the other fusions, we're playing Garura and Dracostapelia.
Where's my boy Mud Dragon?
No Mud Dragon. I'm not smart enough for Mud Dragon. But I will say Garura overperformed today.
Incredible card.
It got me draws in 3 games, and it won me lethal because of the double battle damage effect that almost nobody reads on the card. So when it's boosted with Carolino, that's half life just off of
4K.
4K. Yeah. So that's it for the fusion. I will say, if there was one of these to cut that I might change for Muddy, Dracostapelia didn't feel that great today. It really just came down to an extra body to fuse into off of the tier cards. So that's it for the fusions. Over to the Xyz. The absolute excellent game-winning, every match you play a card, Abyss Dweller. You have to play this card.
Pretty standard.
It's insane. Make it going first. If you think you're against tier, make it going first. If you don't think you're against tier, make it as soon as possible, because you can just keep playing the rest of your turn. No problem. And you can do all your extra mills. You don't care what your opponent mills. So gotta play Abyss Dweller. Also, another power combo here. Didn't use it much today, but Baguska Zeus. So Baguska has an attack position effect where it can't be destroyed or targeted by card effects. So pushing through for board clears and also plussing off your own effects that Zeus sends feels fantastic.
Huge.
It was awesome. I didn't use it today. I didn't need to today, which was great. But yesterday at the other tournament, it really overperformed. It won me 2 games. And the last one, Beatrice. Don't know how I feel about her. I didn't summon her today. I had a chance to summon her. I went with another option that ended up winning me the game, and I'll get to in the links in a moment. But I see why she's good, and I see why you'd keep her. I think if you're someone who's interested in only playing the 2-1 ratio for the Bestials, you might want to consider cutting that, because if you don't have a lot of 6s to end on,
I think double Herald and Bestials, you can end on Beatrice a lot.
Yeah, there's some options. It depends on your deck building. So I think it's good, and I think I will keep it. But if you were on any less than that, you might consider that.
Yeah.
So that's it for the Xyz. And now into some more cool stuff. So links, we got the Link 2s.
We got the standard 2.
Sprite Elf, Sprite Sprint, and also Dark. This is gonna sound crazy. I never made Sprint today. I made Elf multiple times, but Sprint never came up. I actually found it hard to get enough gas to use the combos.
Yeah.
I'm not super experienced with the deck either, so I didn't use Sprint. I might actually cut that. I felt like having a Link 3 a lot of times today, and there might be an option there. Definitely keep Elf. Dark won me most games today. Play Dark, play the Charmer. It's fantastic. And Elf is fantastic too, absolutely. Now into the boss monsters.
That's it.
Access code and the goats for me today that won me my last round. Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. A lot of people weren't playing around this. A lot of people in the tier matchups, people will sit on Elf and wait for you to commit to something. If you're just putting bodies on the board, a lot of the time they're more focused on the grave, they're more focused on the Keldo, Kelbeck, the back and forth interaction, and they don't see you just accumulating these resources on the field, and all of a sudden their elf hasn't been used. If you have 3 monsters, that's it. And you clear it, you cut them off of an interaction in mills. It definitely won me my last game, for sure.
Awesome.
So 100%, and shout out to one of my buddies, Blair, who pulled this for me like 2 days ago.
2 days ago? Nice.
This is fantastic. Thank you for that. And access code. I mean, access code's access code. What can you say? So that's everything for the main and the extra. Over to the side, which I will say I'm not super happy with actually.
No.
The first cards, hand traps. We got 3 of the Ghost Sister and Spooky Dogwood, and also the 3 Gamma and 1 Driver. This card overperformed. It got me my only draw today for 400 life points in time. I will say, Driver and Gamma probably will cut those in the future. You don't like milling them, you don't like drawing Driver, you never want to draw Driver, and honestly, so many decks, like the best matchups for tiers right now is Sprites, and honestly, unless you cut off the first summon and they happen to have a dead hand, it really doesn't do much. I played against a Tri-Brigade Sprite player who I interacted with about 8 times, and by the end of their turn, they had about 5 more monsters on board than I did.
Yeah, a lot of gas.
Sometimes it's just not enough. So that one didn't really perform for me. Other cards here, the spells. We got another TTT. I did side this in. Definitely, you got to play at least 1. 2 is good. Again, you don't want to draw 2. Also for the spell trap and back row removal. So we've got 1 Twin Twisters, 1 Cosmic, 1 Duster, and actually for the Tearlaments name, we've got the Heartbeat. So I did just go with a mix of back row interaction because I thought some people might be on control, like the rogue players. Flunder, you definitely want to clear the field spell. Just some back row. So I just went with mixed back row hate. Heartbeat. So let's talk about that card. I don't like Heartbeat very much.
Blasphemy.
I know a lot of people swear for it. I think as a going second card, it's probably really strong, especially against spell trap heavy reliant matchups, or just to clear the Perlarino in the mirror. I drew that card several times yesterday, and every time I didn't have enough names to use it, it didn't feel great. I changed my ratio since then, so that might have helped, but today I didn't side that card in once, and I honestly didn't miss it.
Okay.
So, but for back row, I do think that you should be playing a good amount of back row.
Some back row, yeah.
Just because of mine and control decks. Well, I saw a lot of people skill drain today, so skill drain definitely does have an impact on this deck. So probably want to do with that. So that's the spells. And now for the last one, the funniest part of my spice for
What
the
is this
day.
doing here?
So we've got Muckraker from the Underworld along with Chaos Hunter and Invader of Darkness. So this is a shockingly good combo. Sadly, I didn't make it today. I don't think I'll cut this though.
No?
So what these cards do, basically, for anybody who doesn't know, is you can cut off your opponent from either banishing or using quick play spells. And a lot of, depending on which monster you summon, and these are really easy to set up in the grave because you just mill them off of your tier cards, and even if you draw it, guess what? Sharon just says discard a monster. It doesn't say discard a name.
This is probably crazy against Sprite, right?
It's against Sprite. This card won me a matchup against Sprite. I got evenly matched, and I left this on field, and he had to pass turn because he couldn't use starter or smasher.
That's legendary, man. It's legendary.
So that card's insane. Also, this card has a Dingirsu effect. Everybody who hasn't seen this card before, basically, so you get your lock effect out of the grave. If they try to use anything, just like a generic board wipe, like Raigeki, Lightning Storm, anything else, you can just tribute this to stop it, and you protect all of your cards, including the floodgate that might be stopping them from playing. So
Spice?
Yeah, against Flunder, Chaos Hunter, incredibly funny, won me a game. Against Exo Sister, this is also kind of an FTK because Exo Sister doesn't do anything without banishing. So yeah, no, these cards are great. Wouldn't change those. Those cards are awesome. And so that's 40 in the main, 15 extra, 15 inside. Great event today. My first time ever topping a regional, second place, undefeated. Woo, awesome. Shoutouts. Are we okay for shoutouts?
Yeah, of course.
Shoutouts to East Coast Games. Obviously, a lot of them represented here. Brad, congratulations to him for the first place win. Shout out to all the other winners as well. Shout out to my friend group who came and played today and ended up having to drop, but definitely happy to have them participating here. And shout out to my mom, my sister, my dad, my girlfriend, and my cat who never stopped believing in me.
Well, thank you so much for the deck profile, and congratulations on your second place, man. Undefeated.
Thank you.
We still take that.
Awesome. Have a good one. And